In this video, I'm going to demo how to use roles. There are two kinds of roles. There is form roles and there is submit roles. To enable and disable or hide controls, you want form roles. So in this form here, this is a job application form, and I have this radio button here. Have you ever worked for this employer? Yes or no? And if it is yes, you can enter the start date and end date at that employer in these date inputs. So when you change the radio to yes or no, we want to disable this concept. So when you change the radio to no, you have never worked for this employer, then you want to disable these inputs. Similarly, this text box is for entering your explanation for a felony conviction, but that should be enabled only if the felony conviction is yes. So how do we enable and disable these controls? That can be done using form roles. To specify form roles, you're going to design mode and then press the add role button under form roles. Give it a name. Ever worked for this employer? That's the name. And in this role, I'm going to check this field. If this field is false, then I want to disable start date at this employer, and also disable end date at this employer. So that is that role. And I want to add another rule for felony conviction. In this role, I want to check felony, and this is that field, and if that is true or if that is false, then I want to disable felony explanation. So now let's try the new rules. I get out of design mode by pressing the X here, and now if I switch from ever worked for this employer from yes to no, you can see that buttons are disabled. Similarly, if you have ever been convicted of a felony, if you change that to yes, this becomes enabled. If you change that to no, it becomes disabled. Now, there's one more rule we need to add. So I want to make sure the user supplies either the email or the phone. At least one must be supplied. So how do we ensure that? You can turn on the required flag for these fields, but in that case, both will be required. I only want the user to supply either one of those. So in that case, I go to design mode and add a submit role. And this is called contact info supplied. That's the role. And what I want to do here is, if email is empty and phone is empty, if both those conditions are satisfied, then I want to say one of email or phone must be supplied. Now let's test that rule out. You press X to close, get out of design mode, and then you press submit. One of email or phone must be supplied. So this is how you use form roles and submit roles.